There are highways so forgotten that even maps no longer remember them. But the darkness never forgets. Hidden beyond the trees stands Blackwood Motel, a place travelers discover only when they have nowhere else to go. Local legends say the motel has only one permanent guest, and every storm it waits for someone new. Ethan Carter had been driving for 8 exhausting hours. Every mile pulled him farther from civilization. His phone was dying. His GPS had stopped working. The storm erased every familiar landmark. For the first time that night, Ethan realized he was completely alone. Then, through the rain, a faded neon sign appeared. It looked abandoned, but the lights were still on. Only one vehicle remained, untouched for years, yet somehow it wasn't empty. The office smelled of mold and old wood. Silence filled every corner. An old man appeared. His eyes never blinked. His face never changed. Without asking questions, he handed Ethan the key. As Ethan turned toward the exit, the old man finally spoke. "If someone knocks after midnight, whatever you do, don't answer the door." The hallway stretched farther than it should have. Every room looked ordinary, except one. Room 13 felt alive. Without a sound, the handle began to move. The door opened just enough for darkness to escape. Then, a whisper reached Ethan's ears. It sounded like someone begging for help. One more step, and everything would change. The door slammed shut on its own, and the motel became silent once again. Ethan locked the door behind him. The room looked ordinary. Old furniture, peeling wallpaper, and a single lamp fighting against the darkness. Then he noticed something carved into the wood. The letters were deep, as if someone had scratched them in with desperate hands. He laughed nervously, convincing himself it was just a cruel prank left by another guest. Minutes passed. Outside, the storm grew louder. Midnight was almost here. The silence inside the room felt heavier than the thunder outside. Then, the clock changed to 12:13. A single knock echoed through the room. Knock. He remembered the old man's warning and stayed completely still. A second knock came, slower this time. Then a third. Something was standing outside, and it wasn't leaving. The knocking stopped. Ethan held his breath. Every instinct told him to stay away from the door, but curiosity was stronger than fear. Slowly, he leaned forward and looked through the peephole. The hallway was completely empty. No footsteps, no shadow, nothing. Relieved, Ethan stepped back, convinced the old man had been trying to scare him. Then, a whisper came from inside the room. "Don't look behind you." Frozen in fear, Ethan slowly looked toward the mirror. His reflection was normal, except someone was standing behind him. He turned instantly, but the room was empty. Downstairs, the old receptionist quietly watched the security cameras. One camera showed Ethan inside room 12. Another showed him walking toward room 13. The old man didn't seem surprised. He whispered, "It has chosen him." The receptionist rewound the recording. Frame by frame, the impossible became impossible to ignore. Camera 12 showed Ethan asleep inside his room, completely unaware of what was happening outside. But another camera captured someone with Ethan's face, walking slowly toward room 13. A scratching sound pulled Ethan from his thoughts. It wasn't coming from the hallway, it was coming from beneath the bed. He knelt down, expecting to find a rat or loose floorboards. Instead, he caught a glimpse of pale fingers, slowly disappearing into the darkness. Where the hand had vanished, something else remained. It was an old photograph, taken in front of Blackwood Motel almost 50 years earlier. Among the smiling guests, one person's face had been completely erased. It looked as though the photograph itself refused to reveal who they were. Before Ethan could understand the photograph, the old telephone beside the bed began to ring. His hands trembled as he answered. A familiar voice whispered, "Ethan, don't open the door. I'm the real you."